Hello everyone. Today I'd like to go over some of the recent mortgage changes. There has been tons of them. You have probably heard about them, but if not, we can go over them again and clarify them. So effective November 21st, tomorrow, there is no more stress test on renewal if you have uninsured mortgage. So what is uninsured mortgage? Uninsured mortgage means if you get a mortgage and if you pay more than 20% down, then you don't have to purchase mortgage default insurance for one of the three providers in Canada. One is called CMHC, which is a federal crown corporation owned by the government of Canada. And then there are two private ones, Sagent and Canada Guarantee. So for years, the mortgage industry has lobbied the government to please remove this rule because this current rule favors the current lender. Because when it comes to renewal, your current lender, they don't do a stress test. They don't even check your job, if you have a job or not. They just send the renewal. But if you want to go and shop around, and if you have uninsured mortgage, then you have to do a stress test. So what is a stress test? A stress test was brought a few years ago by the government when the rates are going up. They want to make sure that people are ready if the rate goes up. So they want to protect the people. And essentially, what that means is if you qualify for 5%, then I have to qualify for 2% higher, so 7%. And the minimum was 5.25%. Now, keep in mind, when you shop around, you still have to qualify. But the good thing is you don't have to worry about this extra 2% for stress test. So this gives you more flexibility, and this is good. You have more choices. Now, there's another thing I like to clarify. There's some confusion. When it comes to mortgage rule change, when it comes to housing changes, the governments in Canada or other countries, they make decision. For example, the government of Canada changes stress test. The government of Canada changed amortization recently from 25 years to 30 years for some of the new home buyers or for new homes. So the government of Canada make these decisions and other countries too. But when it comes to interest rate decisions, only the central banks make decision because the central banks are designed to be independent and look after the long-term interest of the country. Uh, and whereas the politicians, they make their decision based on short-term interest and popularity. So in Canada, uh, the interest rates are controlled by the Bank of Canada, and in other country, for example, in the U.S., is controlled by U.S. Federal Reserve. In England, it's called Bank of England. In Japan, it's called Bank of Japan. And in Canada, the Bank of Canada make 8 rate announcements per year. These are predetermined, pre-scheduled, unless there's emergency. For example, during COVID, they had to do an emergency rate announcement. Otherwise, the Bank of Canada, during its 8 announcements, they just either keep the interest rate the same, they can increase, or they can decrease it. I hope you find this information useful.